So, a major problem with putting people on oxygen long term intubation, um, and that's the thing that goes down your throat, or any breathing device, and also in the future ones I've talked about that people talk about injecting oxygen up your butt to artificial breathing machines, is that oxygen can cause cellular damage. It can cause oxidative stress. And this is because oxygen is a very reactive molecule, and you can see it lights stuff on fire. And then it doesn't need to do this totally with your whole body, but it can do it to mess up a protein or a little cell. And this is one of actually the main forms of aging. Besides that, people with under a ton of stress are more likely to get oxidative damage because there's inflammation which heats up the body more. They have the enzymes are not working as well, so they don't direct the oxygen the right way, causing more stress. And beyond all that, they also need more energy sometimes to fight whatever's going on in the body. Then there's something called antioxidants that you take. Now, antioxidants are a bunch of different things. There's a ton of different ones, and some of it's real, some of it's fake. But there is something that prevents oxygen from attacking your body cells or stuff in general, enzymes, proteins. Usually it works by themselves being attacked instead, or they modulate it, they slow down the way oxygen reacts with stuff, or they kind of hold on to oxygen a little bit, or they redirect processes so the process goes more smoothly with oxygen. Oxygen is less likely to escape. A bunch of vitamins are this, a bunch of proteins you eat, a ton of different things. And there's also some fake stuff, like if you put antioxidants on your skin, it can help your skin, but it's not going to help very much beyond the surface level. Some antioxidants you put out throughout your whole body. Some of them are very localized. Some of them protect more different types of cells or stuff like that. So it's very complicated, and you shouldn't just take it as antioxidants good. In fact, sometimes antioxidants can be bad because they can protect cancer cells in some cases when you're on cancer therapy, and we want to damage those cells. They can sometimes detect bad cells. But anyways, can we give people antioxidants to improve people that are intubated, like in the COVID-1 or in the COVID-19, which is a lot of people that get long-term damage after intubation, or before, or with other things, or with the new processes? Well, I think there's some data saying yes, but the data is a little scattered. One of this is the long one I'm going to go through is, first, the short one is that this one with preterm babies is not the best, but it shows that preterm babies get more oxidative stress with weaker lungs and stuff. Then they go over a variety of ways, but they don't present the data very well, that we can reduce the stress with antioxidants. And they go from everything from spraying it directly into the lungs, which is endotracheal supplementation, or that they use or they actually manipulate genes to make your body make more of a type of antioxidant to do it. Then they had another one where they just gave it into like supplements. Then they had one where they have surfactant protectant. And that means they put something that coats your lungs and helps protect your lungs by making a coating that acts sort of a barrier that stops stuff from happening too fast or too slowly. It slows down everything. They found good evidence that it does help and that it's pretty darn safe. But this is again also in most of the data they got from was from mice. And it was a specific case, but it could apply to human beings' lungs. Even though I'm more interested in, instead of the vaporizing method, in just putting in the IV fluid because that's simpler. And we work with the whole conveying of putting up oxygen up your butt or putting up oxygen lung air machines. Another one that is a lot more thorough, but this is only looking at people going cardiac surgeries that need to be intubated before and after a while. They have looked at a bunch of risk factors, and they all found the intubation really helps. And antioxidants really help. And by the way, these people are on long life support with intubation and more. And one of the main things that intubation causes is heart problems. So antioxidant would be something that we could look at to thoroughly get rid of these lung problems. Now, let's look at the actual data they present, and let me explain it. So this is a meta-study, which means they looked at a bunch of different studies and put them all together. And this is just them going over the data one by one. But the data is pretty clear once we get to the actual data over here. Risk factor is how much without the treatment over how much over the treatment you likely get certain diseases. So this is about a 45% reduction. This is about a 42% reduction in people getting atrial fibrillation due to oxygen problems, intubation-related problems. Atrial fibrillation is when the atrial part of the heart, which is the upper chambers of the heart that are connected to the lungs. I believe I could be wrong, but it's when it goes too fast, and when it goes too fast, it can't pump blood correctly because it doesn't fully close or open, and the valves can't also keep up, and because the valves can't keep up, blood goes in both ways, in and out, instead of going one direction. You have these two things happen, that it's not pumping up enough blood with each stroke because it's not fully collapsing, and that the valves are not working. So that's quite a big reduction. And then there's another one reduction. Some other reductions, post-operative complications overall were reduced by around 30%. The mortality rate was reduced by about 50%, which is the biggest one. And this is some of the most extreme intubation when you're under some of the most stress with your heart. Again. And then other things is the hospital stay was reduced, if you compare the two means, by 0.68, which is 0.97, which in this case is measured in, this is the weirdest thing, I couldn't find it. I believe it is in days. Then you have another one, length of ICU stay. Again, this is the reduction of 0.2. Then there's about a 0.15 reduction in the duration of them having a basic atrial fibrillation if they have one. Which again, they don't give good units out, which is so unfortunate, but it might be due to them how they collect numbers. And the intubation time is remarkably reduced, probably because the lungs get working better faster. Then, so you have all this stuff. And I also want to go over what the random effect model and the fixed effect model is. So random effect model predicts that there's some randomness in the results. So it doesn't think that every result works the exact same on every single person. So some people might have more of an effect by this, and some people might have lesser effect by each variable. The fixed effect model says every variable affects everybody equally. The random effect variable usually gives you slightly worse results, but not always with how important something is. But sometimes it gets better. It depends on what you think is more realistic. And is it more of a fixed or random effect? Also, random effect models, to make them better, usually need more data. And then they also go over up here they somewhere have the axle p-values, and p-values indicate how good they are. Results, kind of how likely it's not just random error. If you get 2 people in a room, you're going to find people that have some features the same. Glasses, gender, something is going to be the same. Hair color. But all these are pretty low p-values. So there's a 99% chance that this is not due to randomness. This is very little. Basically as small as you can measure. There's a 93% chance that this is not randomness. This one is pretty high, 19%. This is beyond measurable. But that's, atrial fibrillation, 99% chance it's not random. This is hospitalization time, almost a 0% chance that it's random. I think the IC2 thing, 93% chance that reduction is not random. Only 19% chance that reduction isn't random for post-operative one. However, it's fancier. This means that it doesn't mean there isn't effect. It means that randomness is bigger effect, actually. So it could still be effect. The duration of post-operative time, duration of atrial fibrillation is super small. Unlikely to be randomness. Super likely not to be randomness. Super likely not to be randomness. Intubation time, not very significant. But then they combine all these studies they have, and everything, the atrial fibrillation, hospitalization time, and length of ICU, all basically as good as we can measure it. Duration of post-operative, atrial fibrillation and intubation time, those reductions, less than a 90% chance that this was due to some random error. Intubation time less than 0.99. Post-operative complications, about 9. There's an over 90% chance that they're right. In-hospital mortality rate, it's not very good because the problem with it is that they just don't have a big sample size. So hopefully this all gives a good evidence that this treatment could work maybe for a lot of other things. Now figuring out the exact right antioxidants could be hard because you don't want to make cells healthier in ways that fuel the virus or anything. But what we target, the main effect seems to be very much on the brain, digestive tract, and heart and lungs. So if we target that and we don't actually do stuff for the immune system, it actually might be better because the immune system is out of control and is causing a bunch of damage. And there are a bunch of antioxidants that more specifically do that. So this is just some ideas, and I think there should just be a lot more research. And every little bit helps a lot, and antioxidants tend to be also very, very cheap. So even if it's a mild reduction, it could be huge. Well, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year and 4,000 watch hours, which is really, really hard. But with your help, I think I can do it. Thank you very much again.